Hi, I'm Tess from Dusty Betty.
And I'm Steve from Hardtail Party.
And today we're bringing you a his and her review of the Pearl Izumi X-Alp launch.
When these shoes were first announced, I got super excited because we don't have a whole lot of options for flat pedal shoes. And anytime there's another great option, it's a good thing for those of us that ride flat pedals.
Yeah, we put a year on these shoes and we wanted to give them a really good go before we gave the review, and we're excited to tell you what we think about these. So just to kind of give you a little bit of an overview of the shoe, they have a bonded upper, which means rather than having a whole lot of sewn seams where you have to under and overlap things, creates a lot of extra material which adds weight. So they've gone with more of like a bonded upper, which creates a lighter weight design. The sole also has different compounds on different parts of the shoe, which are designed to give you like a different feel on different parts of the shoe so that hopefully you have grip where you need it. They also have like a stiff reinforced sole and a reinforced toe to give you added protection. They also have some vents on the kind of suede toe box up here that is supposed to help a little bit with breathability. They also have some other synthetic and natural fibers in the design. They have one of these little elastic loops too, which you can use to secure your laces so that they're not flinging around or getting caught on the pins on your pedals and untying themselves. So let's start with the sole, because that is one of the most important features I think on a flat pedal shoe. How did you like the soles on these?
When I saw these, I got excited about the Vibram soles with the dual rubber compound. You've got a good durable traction here where you can walk on the trail, and then this theoretically is supposed to be a softer rubber to grip your pedals better. Sadly, the grip was awful on these. The pedals pins are not able to sink into this. I don't know if it's because there's no voids, but for sure the rubber is too hard. I tried siping these. I took a razor blade and started cutting little slits in it to hope to give the pins something to get into. Even that didn't work. So these have about the same amount of grip as those tuxedo shoes you rented at prom, the super slick shiny ones. And I like Pearl Izumi. I'm not trying to rag on them, but I need to be 100% clear. These shoes do not have enough grip for flat pedals. A pair of Vans, if we were rating them on like 0 to 10 of grip, would probably be like an 8. These would be a 1. I would recommend Skechers or Converse or Trail Runners or any other athletic shoe over these. The rubber is just too hard, the pins don't sink in, and I also would like to see this extend a little bit lower, because this is a great pedal placement for a clipless pedal shoe for cross-country riding, but proper pedal position puts this pedal spindle behind the ball of your foot, which is about here, and you can see my pedals were contacting it here. So this should be an inch or two lower. It's really too bad because the other aspects of this shoe are really great, but that doesn't matter if they don't grip, and grip is essential on flat pedal shoes. I seriously wonder if anybody who designed this wears flat pedals, or if they're all clipless people who kind of just built it on a computer, and engineers who said, well, that's cool, let's use a Vibram sole and put something here that's a different compound, but nobody actually ever tried it because it's very slippery, it's very dangerous, and I relegated these to my work shoes. It's really too bad. I really wanted to love these, and when you read the Pink Bike review on them, they said they love these shoes, and then there was this one little sentence that said, well, they're not very grippy, but apart from that, they're great. And I just wanted to scream from my computer and say, grip is essential. It's like reviewing a tire for your bike that doesn't really grip well, but it does everything else well. This is a contact point between your body and your bike, and you need to have control. And even if you don't like shoes as grippy as 510s, these do not grip.
Yeah, I would say that the section of sole under the ball of your foot, it's not just not grippy, it's actually kind of slippery. I kind of felt like I was skating around on mine. And I would say, yeah, probably a normal pair of running shoes or Skechers or something like that would actually have more grip. Now, these are going to have a much more supportive sole, which is still kind of important with a riding shoe, but if I had to choose between a supportive sole and grip, grip is going to win every time. The less supportive shoe, you're just going to feel it a little bit more, and they are probably not going to last as long. So that was kind of our situation with the sole.
Yeah, like Tess said, they are rather slippery, and it's not just a question of being able to reposition your foot. It's a question of braking hard and my feet sliding on the pedals. So it's not just that I love tacky rubber and this isn't tacky. It's that my feet would move when I didn't want them to move on the pedals.
Yeah, and even times where, sometimes you're pumping terrain with your arms and your feet, and there are times when you get light on the bike and you still have contact, but just that lightening of contact is enough to kind of shift your foot around sometimes when you're not expecting it.
That's scary. And that being said, I feel like the rest of the shoe is really great, but if it doesn't have grip on the pedals, no amount of other features can really make up for that. That being said, I feel like it's a great platform that if they did a version 2 and actually put a sticky sole on it, this would be a fantastic shoe.
So after I had been running these shoes for quite a while and I wasn't loving the soles, but I still wanted to give the shoes a little more of a chance, I had the opportunity to try something different. So Vibram, they make Pearl Izumi's sole, and the way that their company works is they work with companies like Pearl Izumi to develop a sole that that company wants to put on their shoe. But Vibram also makes some of their own soles, and they can re-sole shoes that you already have. Now they make a mountain biking flat pedal sole that I had put on these shoes, and I was really pleasantly surprised. It's siped, the compound here, I know it's hard to compare because they're a different size, but it does come down lower so that you can get a better, like your spindle would go probably right about there or about there, just depending on how you ride. So this compound is placed really, really well. The siping, the pins sink into it really nicely, and it has better grip than this. It's a different feel than like a stealth rubber on the 510s or like the compound that they use on Ride Concepts, but it's still a great shoe, and it had way more grip. And so I felt like once I put this on here, I could stop thinking about the sole and focus a little bit more on other aspects of the shoe. As far as protection, I felt like the reinforced toe did a really great job. We ride in a lot of rocky places, and so once or twice a month I take a pretty good strike to the toe with a rock, and these did a really great job protecting my feet, maybe even a little more protection than some of the 510 models that I've had. And I will say, for having such a stiff sole and that reinforced toe, you still have a lot of flexibility throughout the rest of the shoe, so it makes it a lot more comfortable than like the downhill 510 shoe. This is I think a pretty good, a much better feel for an everyday riding shoe in the upper.
I don't feel like they're quite as breathable as I would like, and if when they got wet they took forever to dry out, just like 510s do. So I'd like a little bit more breathable, especially in the black color. But they're comfy shoes. If I walk a long time in them or stand in a long time, I get pretty tired because the sole is so hard, and not just the rubber compound but the sole itself. It's pretty stiff and hard, and just walking around it makes you fatigue a lot quicker.
Yeah.
What else? How do you think they look?
They're a pretty good looking shoe in terms of design. I have to say I'm a little bit jealous of your black with the gum sole. The women's colors are fine. They're just kind of pretty much what you would expect from a women's line, but I'm jelly because I really like the look of that. I think that's a nice combo, but yeah, I feel like it's a pretty good looking shoe. How did you feel like they were fit wise for you?
Fit was good. I'm normally a 9. These are a 42.5, so like a 9 1/4. They fit great. I was hoping they would break in and soften up a lot over time. They still retain their stiff sole characteristic. I think if you were hiking off-road, well, I know if you were hiking off-road, this would not be enough grip, and that combined with the stiff sole makes it hard to gain traction on certain things. Some people like a really stiff sole. I actually prefer a softer shoe where I can actually step on different parts of the pedal and make it do different things. I don't like the shoe to like fold in half like if I had a pair of Vans on, but I don't feel like I need a super stiff sole. If you're riding big drops and downhill stuff, something like that 510 Impact Pro does have the stiffer sole to save your feet a little bit more, but for most trail riding, which is what these are aimed at, I felt they were a little stiff.
I did all right. Even the fact that they did have a pretty dang stiff sole, I still found them very comfortable.
Let's talk about price. These go for 150 bucks. Would you pay 150 bucks for these?
For 150 bucks, I'd probably rather go with a Ride Concept shoe.
Yeah, or just about any 510. The 510 Freerider Pros go for about 150. You can find the 510 Canvas. What are they? They're the Freerider Canvas?
I think so.
I think the Freerider Canvas. You can usually find those between 80 and 90 bucks. And they have, I think they're a better shoe. They're heavier, they're a little bit clunkier than these. The grip is there though, and that's way more important than anything. And yeah, so for 150, they've got to do everything really well. I mean, even for 60 bucks, I would still recommend a new rider go with a good pair of Vans than these. Mainly for that grip. That grip is so important. We coach, we help new riders all the time, and they have a hard time justifying paying over $100 for shoes just for biking. And so we see a huge market for the $40 to $70 range with good grip. Even if they only lasted a season, that would give people confidence and help them see the value in having a shoe with good grip. So then they would be willing to spend 150 bucks on their second pair. And I would hate to have like a family member new to riding spend 150 bucks on these and not get the traction they need.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for that price point, there are other shoes that I would probably buy, but I totally agree. I think even in the $80 to $60 range, I think there's a lot of room for other companies to come up with a more budget shoe in their lineup, even at the sacrifice of a little bit of durability. I agree.
Sure.
It's enough to get people who are maybe only riding once a week or a couple times a month, get them into a good shoe that's going to be safe and give them the grip that they need without the investment. And then, yeah, hopefully it gets them sold enough on having a flat pedal riding specific shoe that later on that they're ready to invest in a higher end shoe.
Someone out there is going to be a millionaire when they can figure out, I mean, maybe it's too tall of an order to ask for to have great grip for under 75 bucks, especially in the mountain bike world. But until then, I'm going to keep recommending Vans for shoes under 60 bucks. It's just because of the grip alone. They have tons of other shortcomings, but the grip is so important for a new rider.
Yeah, I would agree.
Pearl Izumi is a great company. They've been making great mountain biking gear for a long time. They put a lot of attention to detail in these shoes, but the soles need to be stickier. I think Giro did the same thing with their flat pedal shoes. They use a rubber compound that's not sticky at all, and so did Bontrager. And they're so close, like the shoe itself is good, but they need to have testers who ride flat pedals exclusively giving them feedback. Because all three of these shoes, I would put these in with the Bontragers and the Giro shoes, with the Vibram soles. They're gonna last a long time, but that's because the pedals never really sink in. Anyway, I sound like a broken record, but I just really want the industry to know how important grip is. If the grip's not there, nothing else matters.
Yep, this is a version 1 for them, so I think that there's definitely room for them to change the design as time goes on, and we're excited to keep an eye on the evolution of the X-Alp launch. Thanks so much for watching. That is our his and her review. Let us know if there are any other his and her mountain biking product reviews that you would like to see. Make sure you subscribe to Dusty Betty as well as Hardtail Party. Like this video if you enjoyed the information. Thanks so much for watching.